a promise, take a vow, and trust your feelings, it's easy now. Understand the voice within, and feel a change already beginning. Oh, won't you tell me again? Oh, can you feel it? Oh, won't you tell me again tonight?
Oh, I love that song. Like many, many songs anyway. That's Dan Radio Style for you. Hope everybody out there is enjoying themselves. I think I'm definitely having a pretty good time all in all. No complaints anyways, right? So that's The Voice by Moody Blues. Good tune. And it kind of ties into the fifth chakra. Yeah, there we go. I like to tie things in like that sometimes. I try to get a little music in there, if you know what I mean. Again, so this Dan Radio Style, we are trying to get everything situated here. I'm like freaking out on my board. I don't know why. My levels are a little lower than they should be, but I'm going to make them work. So yeah, let's get to the part of business. Just get that out of the way. So this is a Dan Radio Style production. So please subscribe to my channel. I always enjoy the heck out of that. And this particular, well, if you want to contact me, you'd think I'd be better at this. I've done like, I don't know, 30 some odd videos / audio things. Whatever the case is, though. Yes, contact me, please, at spiritradiodanstyle@gmail.com. And, of course, that's in the little bottom comments section there by the video. So, yeah, we're dealing with the fifth chakra. I was talking to a very good friend of mine recently, and she was explaining to me how these are not necessarily her favorite shows that I've done because they're strange. And that's okay. Strange is what I do. But, yes, I as I tried to explain, I'm just trying to work through the chakras. I think it's a good idea for those that definitely are looking for something out there. For those that haven't or aren't looking for this kind of information, hopefully it just kind of touches, you know? Okay, I'm just saying, maybe it kind of touches you in a little bit of a kind of way where you're like, huh, interesting. Because she ended up actually texting me shortly after, saw some restaurant called Chakras or something crazy like that. And so, I don't know, I think it's touching her in some way, shape, or form. But needless to say, I'm doing it anyway. I consider this a very, very important part of our whole spiritual evolution. So, you know, kind of working my way through it. So the fifth chakra is the throat chakra, that is, as it's frequently called. I guess the proper Sanskrit name is Vishuddha, and that stands for purity. So yeah, that's kind of helpful, right? It's located in the throat area. Also has to do with the law of detachment, which states that in order to acquire things in this world, we have to relinquish our attachment to them. So in other words, to get something, you have to let go of it. Kind of funny how that works, right? Law of detachment also teaches us that we can choose our words and actions, but cannot control others' responses to them. When our intentions are clear and our hearts are open, we will spontaneously clear the fifth chakra, and speaking in a loving, compassionate way, knowing the universe will support us and handle all the details. Again, one thing I want to touch on with this really quickly is many, many people have said, oh, you made me feel like such and such, or you blah, blah, blah. No one can make anyone feel like anything. We all choose to feel that way. So this kind of ties into that. I might say the words, I might speak them. Your response to those is your choice. You know, how you choose to listen to those words and then perceive what they mean and then react, or decide what that means and then react is really all of our choice. If you're not 100% sure what I'm saying, then ask. That's really kind of the easy way around that. So anyway, that's kind of how that works. Speaking in our own voice, the throat chakra. The fifth chakra is one of the most interesting and also most likely to be blocked, believe it or not. And I come across this with a number of people. But the throat chakra, it's colored blue. It also includes the neck, upper shoulders, mouth, and jaw. This chakra is also the source of expression and manifestation. And when I talk about manifesting, I've had shows on this. I don't know, I guess we're all in this together, right? I've had shows on manifestation. So the three ways that we manifest is what we think, what we say, and what we do. Hence, what we say. Throat chakra. Ah, yes. All starting to tie in now. And what we think, what we say, what we do. Doing, I think, tends to come more from, I don't know, it's kind of a heart chakra thing, I think, personally. I think it ties into other chakras as well. And what we think, I think, is truly kind of more of an upper-level chakra kind of activity as well. So we'll be getting into those chakras down the road. A fully functioning fifth chakra person, or unblocked in this area, if you will speak their minds without forgetting their heart. From a purely pictorial standpoint, the neck is the mediator between head and body. So head and heart, basically. We're between kind of, again, my favorite chakra, which is the heart chakra, and we're kind of like moving on up into the spiritual realms, right? This is where we're really trying to hold all this stuff together. The health of this area directly reflects how true I am to who I am. Kind of important. Let me say that one more time. It reflects to how true I am to who I am. As I've said in other shows, we want to try to be the highest vision of the best version we've ever held about ourselves. I think I jack that up every once in a while, but you get the general gist of it. It's also rare in the individual who's not carrying some tension in the neck, shoulders, or jaw, so most of us have some issues there. It's not a big deal. But we were taught when we were young, many of us have learned anyway, if you haven't something good to say, don't say anything, right? Children should be seen but not heard. All these kinds of things have put us into a programming state when we were younger that what we have to say is not important. And so therefore we should keep our thoughts to ourselves and not express them. So I'm kind of trying to say, we need to practice outside of that. We need to actually speak more and try to get comfortable with speaking our truth. It's very important. So when we were given all these things years ago, right, for many of us, like first 16 years of our lives for that matter, we were taught to look outside of ourselves for both the source of the problems and the solution. We were conditioned to bite off the words. We didn't want to offend the big people, finger quotes. We were conditioned to see life as a burden to be shouldered, which is mainly a pain in the neck, right? Or a pain in the arse, if you know what I'm saying. But in the process, we lost our spontaneity. We lost our zest for life, our ability to speak clearly. The Bible describes, and a lot of Old Testament stuff, describes stiff-necked people. It's all over the place in Exodus, Deuteronomy, and Acts. It's stiff-necked people. I thought that was actually kind of funny, all the little quotes. I'm not going to read them all because it's just not worth it. But the tension in this area is almost always the result of unspoken or unenacted material. In other words, there's stuff bubbling up from the body, from the lower chakras, if you will, and from these feeling centers. And the body is trying to express this, but the fifth chakra is like, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to speak that truth. That actually begins to create blockages. So thoughts and understandings that do not get expressed in their true way will actually cause some blockages in the fifth chakra. Another thing to kind of keep in mind is arriving at the fifth chakra does truly mark what they call as the ascension into the golden triangle. The golden triangle encompasses the last three chakras, which we are going to be dealing with, and it's the path to spiritual growth. So again, as I was talking about in the first three chakras, very physical-oriented. It's huge in the steps of moving us into the spiritual realm. And then we make the great leap into the fourth chakra, right? Huge. Now the fifth, sixth, and seventh chakra are called the golden triangle, and these truly are the major spiritual path elements, if you will. So yes, it is important to recognize that this chakra is a conduit between the intellect of the heart and the intellect of the mind. Heart being the fourth chakra, mind being more like the sixth, seventh chakra. Sixth is really more, I think, sight, kind of seeing that with that the eye in the center of our forehead. They call it the third eye. So a lot of the thinking in my mind, it comes kind of more of a seventh chakra kind of thing. But this is the area in between those. This is what's supposed to help kind of align and synchronize those areas. Fifth chakra has also been called the throat chakra, as I've said, because it resides in the back of your throat. It is the center of communication and self-expression. Verbal, but also can be telepathic. So we can hear voices too. We can also speak to others without actually making the words. So be sure to understand that communication includes not only your expressions, but also that of others. This is where we listen to and appreciate and learn what others have to offer. The fifth chakra also stimulates creativity, especially in oral, written, and musical forms. So people with a balanced fifth chakra are truthful to others as well as to themselves. That's a big step, by the way, if you can be truthful to yourself. They take responsibility for their actions because they say and do what is true for them. Connections and communications with others are clear and harmonious. So creativity is fully expressed and shared. They follow their intuition and are attentive to the synchronicities and signs that are available to them. When you start really operating on these higher chakras, you really start to pay attention to what I call magic or coincidence or coincidence, as a friend of mine likes to state it, and that's actually a very cool way to look at it because that word sort of holds a different meaning for many of us. But if you're also one of these people that has an overstimulated fifth chakra, you can notice things where you might dominate conversations with others, you might speak negatively, you might yell or gossip. Habitual lying can kind of fall into this. An undeveloped fifth chakra may also be apparent in persons who are unable to express their true opinions, who ultimately say yes to others when they really mean no, and who may be unable or very slow to make decisions. An open expression chakra enables us to feel confident in expressing our truth without concerns of critics or other people's opposing views. This does not imply that we say things that are not intentionally this implies that we don't say things that are intentionally hurtful or insensitive, but that we skillfully and compassionately present our needs in a life-supporting way. We try to say things in a way that's not going to hurt others, but at the same time still speaking our truth, especially when you're in situations that are difficult, tough relationships, for example. You still need to speak your truth. You just don't want to be mean. It's like, you upset me when we have these discussions. You don't seem to like you're really paying attention to what my feelings are, versus saying something like, you're a jerk and you never pay attention to me and I hate how you do that. So again, two very, very different approaches to the same problem. Try to be honest, try to speak your truth, and you'll be amazed at how much further you get along in these conversations with others. I'll try to pluralize that. Anxiety over how other people will perceive us slips away when your fifth chakra is just dialed in like it should be. So the fifth chakra is the seat of self-expression. It can be seen as the crossroads between the head and the heart, as I've kind of mentioned, but it also serves as kind of a mediator between thought and emotion. It's really important because, frankly, emotion and thought don't work real well together. You can try to spend a lot of time thinking what emotions mean, but ultimately you're just wasting a lot of time. Emotions are meant to be felt. Thoughts are thunked. I like that. It's a good made-up word. How do you feel about that? I feel okay with it. I fifth chakra'd that right into the microphone and thunk it just that way. So in body work, the throat must be open in order for the energy to flow. Open, quote unquote, means the person is capable of letting the sound out. Letting out the sound. Both the sounds and pleasure of pain. I like that. Pleasure and pain, though, right? Kind of important. Often as the throat is opened, this is kind of funny. This is a weird little, coincidence as well, I guess. But as the throat is opened, there's some studies that suggest that the pelvis actually begins to kind of open and move spontaneously. So when you get a good kind of open throat chakra, it actually does start to affect some of the lower chakras in that same regard. So very interesting how they all tie together. You could have a totally unblocked, say, third chakra, second chakra in those areas, but as you start to expand and move up into your higher chakras, your lower chakras kind of get pulled along as well, and they sort of get a higher depth to them, if you will, or almost a higher dimensional aspect. So it's pretty amazing how this all does truly tie together. And as we make progress through these paths, through these levels, if you will, we definitely will start to see it. You'll start to feel it. You'll notice differences in your relationships. A lot of things start to really, truly come together. It becomes very apparent. I'm not trying to make stuff up. I'm like, if you're someone that's seriously looking to kind of work on some of this stuff, trust me, you are truly going to see differences as you slowly work on these chakras. So blockages, too, that you can sometimes run into are things like sore throats, shoulder and neck pains, and clenched jaw. Now, I want to say I think just about every single one of us has had those kinds of experiences, right? And that's why they mean this is one of the most heavily blocked chakras. Many of us were taught from a very early age that we're supposed to kind of keep our thoughts to ourselves, if you will. And it's very important to speak your truth. Again, do it with respect. Do it in a kind way. Do it where you're not necessarily trying to hurt someone's feelings, but at the same time, you're speaking your feelings. You're being honest and true to yourself. That is what a balanced fifth chakra operates as. It's very important. Me being kind of a speaker, I dig the fifth chakra. It's a very, very large part of who I am. And I don't know if it's necessarily where I'm gifted, because I think it's really all about trying to get all your chakras in line and all firing off together and working together. So I try to get it, working with higher spirit, higher self, with my lower chakras, with my heart, so I can express love to people. But all these things are very, very important as we progress through. Again, Spirit Radio dance style. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these trips through our chakras, right? Fifth chakra is a big one, color blue. And speaking truth, man, let's try to do more of that. Let's work on it and see if we can't make a difference in this world. Why don't you go out of your way to maybe say a few nice things to the people that are around you that you love, right? Either a boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, child, whatever the case is, friend. You got someone that you care about? Let them know. Speak that truth to them, and watch what kind of happens. It's pretty cool. No kind of about it, actually. Watch it happen. It's good stuff. Dan Radio Style, I hope you all enjoyed. Please contact me, of course, at spiritradiodannstyle@gmail.com. It's down in the comments. And we've got 2 more of these chakras to move through, and the next 2 are pretty exciting as well. So stick around. We'll be doing those. Strong chance I'll be popping that next one out on Tuesday for those of you that are really following along like crazy. Otherwise, you're probably one of the people that's watching. They're listening to these way after the effect, in which case it's just waiting. It's the next one. Go ahead and check it out after. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll do more of these shows. I appreciate all of you. And again, please subscribe. I love it. Thank you. Bye.